First off, Lily will not ship until February of 2016, so no one has an actual Lily yet. Here's the CEO talking about the pricing and the release date.
Yeah, so we're launching a pre-sales campaign on May 12, and it's going to be at $499 instead of $999 in retail. And we're shipping in February 2016.
So the company is inviting you to pay $499 for one now, months before any consumer will own one. They say that the price will be going up by double at some point, so you should get yours now at this large discount. One thing I've noted with the other new quads on the market is that they all have bugs in the software when they first release. On each of these quads there's a bit of software code that's called the firmware, and the firmware is largely responsible for how the quad acts. And even the large, well-established companies with years of experience often have some pretty glaring issues with the firmware on their new releases. You can see here in this following video here, I'm going to show what appear to be some glitches in the prototypical firmware. He tells the quad to do a spiral, which is actually, I believe, supposed to be a 360-degree orbit around the wearer of the sensor, and the camera is supposed to stay pointed at the person in the center with the sensor. It appears in this video that the quad just completely ignores that order and doesn't do anything like an orbit, and the CEO demonstrator just sort of glosses it over like it has done exactly what was expected. Have a look.
Try a spiral shot. Goes away and then starts to spiral. Come on. Yeah, I brought it down. Pull again. Let's bend it. So, should you watch, follow, spiral, take off and land.
So I'm not so sure how comfortable I am paying in advance for a quad which is coming from a brand new company with a brand new quad with brand new firmware, especially with a drone that's being expressly marketed as autonomous. Autonomous means the firmware is going to control much more of the behavior of that drone than a more standard user-controlled quad. That means the firmware is all that much more important. Second, the battery tech in all of these new quads is awesome, but there is one common theme amongst them, and that is that after they're charged up and used and charged up and used, there's a finite number of times you can do that before they go bad. With most of the major players in the market, you have to go buy a replacement battery, which is a drag. But in the case of Lily, there's an even larger concern in my mind, and that is, well, listen to what he has to say here.
Okay. How do you, will there be a battery meter on this somewhere? How will it tell me?
So there's 20 minutes of flight time. The battery is built in.
So the battery is built into the quad, and what that'll mean for the Lily owner when the battery is waning and no longer able to fly, I don't know. Maybe they'll have a way that you can open Lily up and replace the battery, which would be great. They never did mention anything about this, but I'd want to know that piece of information before I paid $499 for it, only to have it turn into a paperweight if the battery goes dead. Third, the drone purportedly will not come with any object sensing capabilities, and this means that if it is following you and you cut close by a tree or a power line or anything in its way, the quad is not going to sense that the object in its way, and it could run into it. If you look at this section of one of the CEO's demos, he's doing what he calls a droney, which is, it's like a drone selfie where the quad centers the owner in the camera, and then It moves upward and backward, and it keeps the owner in the frame. It's a pretty cool shot. I spent some time trying to do it myself with my own quad, manually, and it's a great shot. But I can't see for sure in this video that I'm going to show you here how close that pole behind them is, but wouldn't the drone run into any object that was in the predetermined flight path if there isn't any object detection capability? Wouldn't this apply to all the autonomous functionality of this quad as well? Maybe I'm missing something, but I'd be worried that the drone would run into something there wouldn't be anything I could do about it.
Now let's try a drone-y shot where Lily actually flies away from us autonomously. Again, I press a button and Lily will fly away and zoom out and create this really cinematic shot while keeping me in the frame. You can see the world behind us. It's a really awesome shot. Let's bring Lily back. Again, by pressing a button, Lily comes back. And when I feel safe with my surroundings, I can make it land by pressing another button. All of this is done through the tracking device. This was Lily, the autonomous flying camera. Thank you.
Fourth, taking off and landing safety. This drone has no landing gear. I can't tell if they intend for this thing to land on the ground or at all or not, but certainly in all of the demos that I've seen, he has it landing in his or someone else's hand, except for the time it crashes. I've learned a little bit about what a spinning prop can do to you if it happens to make contact with your body, and there are a number of videos here on YouTube with very graphic displays of the injuries that a quad can do. So having the quad land on your hand appears to be what the manufacturer is recommending as normal landing procedure, and in my opinion that seems dangerous. At one point in a demonstration video, the CEO asked the video host if he'd like to allow the quad to land on his hand, and the host agrees, and watch what happens.
Would you like to land it? You want to grab it?
Yeah. So do I have to hold the device or?
No, you just tap it at the bottom when it lands. Okay, now it's gonna land. Whoop. Stop it. Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
it turned
very,
itself off.
very easy to land, very easy to take off.
So it looks to me like there's a firmware issue or some other problem that caused the quad to have a fairly rapid descent into the wrong place, and the host of the video makes a remarkable save to keep the quad from crashing, but seemingly he has no idea how dangerous that catch he made was, and the CEO demonstrator responds by saying, "It's very easy to land and very easy to take off." I'm not sure I agree with that. In any case, how will this work in more windy situations or for people who aren't quite as athletic as the host of this video? I've done some landings in my hand with my current quad under ideal conditions, and it can certainly be done safely, but I have concerns about doing it every single time that way. Maybe the Lily can land on the ground and they just don't show it in these demonstration videos. Have a look at a mistake during takeoff involving a different video host. Again, the host being unaware of the real dangers involved. He laughs out loud about it while the CEO is apologizing, and I am frankly surprised that this host was not injured.
And he had to perform complicated surgery on it a few times to get it to work properly.
Ready?
Yeah. Eventually, one of the drones did what he said it would do after trying to bite me.
My bad.
That's okay.
Here are a few other things that occurred during that demo.
Trying to land on some sunbathers
I took my neural control. I dropped it.
and briefly running away.
Fifthly, I have never found a video that purports to show the actual video from this quadcopter. In every one of the demonstration videos I've managed to find, The footage that is supposedly being recorded is very conspicuously missing. One of the video hosts even comments on that fact here.
Would I look as cool as the people skiing down the slope in slow motion, or even cooler? I'll never know because the footage never came out.
So let me share some questions streaming around in my head about the camera situation with the Lily drone. The biggest players in this arena, they use a relatively cool piece of technology called a gimbal. It's on the underside of the drone to hold the camera steady. The camera stays in the same place no matter what the quad does. And this gives you some great stability in the footage, as you can see in this video I'm showing you. It is apparent that the camera is held inside the drone in the Lily, as the CEO says here.
The camera is built in and it's super easy to use. All you have to do is throw it in the air and let Lily do the rest. Lily will follow you, know where you are, and create amazing content on the fly.
Now, if the camera on the Lily is housed inside the outer shell, instead of out in the open like with most of the others, how will they allow for the kind of camera steadiness that the bigger companies using gimbals offer? Is there some sort of mini gimbal and mini camera inside this thing? I mean, that would be awesome, given that the bigger companies have not been able to accomplish this. And if that is the case, why are they not pointing out what a marvel this technology is that they've created, and why are they not showing us this awesome video that's coming from inside of the Lily? Instead, I can't seem to find a single bit of footage from the Lily camera anywhere. They make it look like the video from the ski jumper in the original promo is actually from the Lily, and maybe that's true. Maybe the snowboarder that tossed it up in the air, maybe that came from the video. I don't know. I'd like to know. I'm just not sure how they can pull this off. If they do, I'm going to be impressed. As an aside, he says in this video that you just throw it up in the air and it follows you. But in the demos I've seen, he's holding in his hand for takeoff, for liftoff. Sixth, this drone appears to be a selfie drone only. Under all circumstances in the demonstration videos, the drone camera is by design pointed at the owner of the drone. For me, this seems a little limiting. I may want to make a video of a bunch of my friends playing volleyball or basketball or whatever. How am I going to do this if the camera just wants to keep looking only at me, if I'm not playing volleyball or playing basketball or whatever? Seventh, the Lily cam will only go 100 feet from the owner.
And you say, what's the range on this thing?
So it's 5 to 100 feet.
How can I get the camera to film a bunch of surfers who I do not know who are surfing 200 feet from the shore? If I'm on the shore, the camera will have to remain 100 feet away from the surfers at least, and besides, it'll be pointing at me. How am I going to get it to point at them? I don't know. Maybe there's a way that they allow you to turn the drone away from you, but certainly they're not talking about that. So I know the concept of this Lily drone is fascinating and exciting, and I'm hoping the thing will be rock solid and that any suspicions I have are unfounded. But I have suspicions, and I thought I'd share them with you.
What we'll show you now is a spiral shot where Lily flies around me in a 360. So Lily hovers in place. And now let's try the spiral shot I was just telling you about. Lily goes in position and starts this loop around me. Again, all I did is press one button on the tracking device. But Lily knows where I am and creates this immersive shot around me.